Hi, this is Leonie from Spines and Splines. Today I'm going to make some scrap cardboard into painting panels. To start with, I'm mixing some shellac to seal the cardboard before coating it with gesso. You can use any kind of sealer for this, but for this particular project I wanted to use materials that I already had around the house. Shellac flakes are made from tree sap, and it's the same stuff that's used in French polish. Mix the shellac, measure out an appropriate quantity of the shellac flakes into a glass jar, and then pour enough methylated spirits in to cover the flakes and then leave them to dissolve. I know a lot of you are probably using your Metho to make hand sanitizer currently. I started making this video last year and I put it aside for a while when I ran into some problems that I'll go through later. And then I moved house, and then I went to Australia for a holiday for 4 weeks. And then there was a global pandemic, and now I'm heading into week 5 of self-isolation back in Ireland. So I'm tackling a bunch of these old videos now that I hadn't finished. Back to the sealant though, whatever type of it you choose to use, it makes a protective layer between your cardboard and your gesso primer, and it stops acid leaching out of your cardboard and wrecking your painting, and in the opposite direction it stops any oils or other ingredients in your paints from breaking down and destroying the cardboard. I like to apply a few coats of shellac on both sides of the cardboard with a cheap brush for good measure. When you're done, you can clean your brush with a little more methylated spirits followed up with soap and water, and any leftover shellac can be stored in the glass jar with a lid on. Once the shellac was dry, I started coating the cardboard with gesso. You want to use at least 2 coats of gesso if you're going to be painting with acrylic paints, and at least 4 coats of gesso if you're going to be painting with oils. Gesso is a special priming paint made from chalk mixed with a binder, and it's the chalk in the gesso that gives your painting panel or canvas a base for your paint to stick to. It's fairly cheap and easy to buy, but you can also make your own, and I'll link to an older video that I've made that includes a gesso recipe in the description. I like to sand between each layer of gesso lightly with a very fine sandpaper to get a slightly smoother, more even surface. Around this point, I ran into some problems with my cardboard warping from the gesso. I tried a few things to fix it, such as sealing and priming the reverse sides of the cardboard as well, but the corrugations in the cardboard were just too bendy. My next idea was to cut a second piece of cardboard the same size as the first, with the corrugations running in the opposite direction, with the hope that the 2 bending forces would cancel each other out. And when I'd glued the 2 pieces together, I put them under weights to dry, and they were flat when I took them out, but they later bent slightly again when I painted on them. Having the 2 layers of cardboard was definitely better, but I wasn't happy with the amount of flex I was getting. Another option if you did want to paint on bigger sizes of cardboard would be to make a bracing frame to stick on the back of the cardboard out of wood or something, and that would help keep everything a bit straighter. The first panels I had cut were A4 size, so around 21 by 30 centimetres. And my next idea, rather than bracing, was to cut these down into much smaller sizes, glue 2 pieces of card together and see how they came out. I cut each sheet again into quarters and stuck 2 of the pieces together, again choosing pieces that had the corrugations running in opposite directions. I'm really happy with the result after sealing, priming and drying them. They feel really sturdy and I think it's a great way to reuse something that would otherwise be thrown away. Currently it's very difficult for a lot of us to get out to art supply stores, if we can afford art supplies at all, so I'll continue making as many videos as I can like this one that look into ways that we can use everyday materials to continue making art. Hope you enjoyed this video. There's links to my website and Facebook page below, as well as a list of materials I've used in this video. I've also started a Patreon page if you can afford to throw a buck or two my way. If you can't, no bother. But most of my freelance work has dried up due to the pandemic, so it would be great to be able to make some kind of income from this channel. Please like, subscribe, share and comment if you liked the video, and I'll be back with new projects soon. Cheers!